What is this? No, it's the wrong tool. How would he fight anyone with this? This is literally for cleaning windows. Close enough. Thor! Hello, my name's Harry Kirby, and welcome to my non-spoilers review for Thor Ragnarok. So in Thor Ragnarok, or Thor 3, Thor is trapped halfway across the universe on a planet called Sakaar, where he's forced to fight in a huge gladiatorial event run by the Grand Master. But he needs to get back to Asgard to take on Hela, the god of death, and stop her from destroying it. When you start watching this film, you can tell straight away that it's going to be a completely different tone, which is a good thing. I enjoyed the first Thor movie, I thought it was decent. Didn't enjoy the second one with the Dark Elf or wherever it was. But straight away you can see that director Taika Waititi has made a concerted effort to make it much more funny, light-hearted, colourful, and I think it really suits the franchise. If you've seen any of Taika's previous films, like What They Do in the Shadows, he's really brought his sense of humour over to this film. And I think that's where Marvel is at an advantage with having 10 years of history behind it, because I think if this had been the first Thor movie, you wouldn't have been able to get away with it because it is very comedic and light-hearted, and I don't think the character would have been taken seriously. But as it's the third film, and we've had films like Guardians of the Galaxy come before it, they can really make it lighter and funnier, and it was a good evolution for Thor's character. If any of you saw the little stings they had, the little kind of comedy sketches they had with Thor living with his roommate, this is more the Thor you get in that film, which I think works really well. I think the character was kind of a little bit one note and took itself a bit too seriously before, where now we can get Chris Hemsworth kind of comedic sensibilities coming out, which I think works really well. Also in this one, the action has really been ramped up. In the previous two, I always used to think, you got this huge god guy with a massive hammer, and there was barely any action. Whereas in this one, there is loads, and it is really good. The fight with Hulk doesn't let you down, and when he's kind of really tapping into his lightning powers, it just goes like a Mega Raiden, basically, and there's some really great stuff there. So, yeah, the action was shot beautifully, fast-paced, big hits, all that kind of stuff, all the kind of stuff you want to see from like a really big superhero film. I think the cast did a really great job in this film. Obviously Chris Hemsworth has returned as Thor, and as I mentioned before, he just seemed a lot more relaxed, having a lot more fun with the character, and I think that made him more relatable and just kind of more fun to watch. Then of course there's a huge supporting cast in this film, with old characters returning like Loki, Odin, the Hulk, who are all great. But we had some really cool new characters as well, like Valkyrie, who's played by Tessa Thompson. She did a really good job, just kind of this really cool badass warrior. Then you had the Grand Master, played by Jeff Goldblum, who was basically just Jeff Goldblum on screen, but in the best way possible. But then probably my favourite new character was a rock creature played by Taika Waititi, the director, and he basically just stole every scene he was in. He was just absolutely hilarious, had like this kind of crazy voice that went with this kind of huge hulking character, and he was really great. I think my least favourite character was Hela, played by Cate Blanchett. I'm not saying by any means that she was bad, she was absolutely fine. She looked really cool with the big comic book style headpiece. She had some great action, which is boshing up guards with blades and all that kind of stuff. I just felt that for whatever reason she was the character I was least interested in when we cut back to, and just kind of wasn't quite grounded in the same reality as the other characters. I won't get into any spoiler territory with it, but I just wanted to briefly talk about the fight between Hulk and Thor that was teased in the trailer. I mean, obviously they had a brief fight in the first Avengers, but this was a much more expanded fight, and as a comic book geek, seeing those two properly go toe-to-toe was a great experience, so I don't think that's going to let you guys down. On to negatives now, and I don't think there's too many, a few nitpicky things. One thing I would say is that the comedic tone works so well throughout most of the film, but there were a few moments where I felt like quite a serious big thing was happening, and they still kind of played it for jokes rather than letting it be serious for a moment, which I think it could have done with doing every now and again. I also felt like Hulk had been slightly nerfed in this film. He didn't seem to be quite as strong as he usually does, but I think that makes sense within what happens in the film. I can't get into it because of spoilers, but I kind of think I understand why he's not quite the rage monster that he usually is. So overall, I really like this film. Great action, good comedy, cool characters, excellent visuals, and something else I didn't mention was the soundtrack, which went really 80s at points, and like 80s synth, which sounded really cool. So now time for my score. So I'm going to have a 5-point scoring system. My 5 out of 5 will be a Kirby classic. My 4 out of 5 will be flipping wicked. My 3 out of 5 will be worth a watch. My 2 out of 5 will be basic crap. And my 1 out of 5 will be a bag of guff. And if you live in the US, a guff is a UK word for a fart, so a bag of farts. So I'm going to give Thor Ragnarok a flippin' wicked. I highly recommend you go and see it. If you like my review, please give it a like, and if you want to see more, feel free to subscribe. But more importantly, what did you guys think? Leave some comments down below. I've done my review, now you do yours too. That's my catchphrase, maybe. Before I go, I want to leave you with a clip that shows you just how far we've come in terms of comic book movies.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.